What's going on, y'all? Happy Monday. Well, certainly Victory Monday for me and everyone else here with Broncos country, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, I'll talk a little bit about that. And of course, for all of my Broncos country folk, definitely look forward to a Broncos talk video coming tomorrow. Certainly early, I would say probably about, I'm going to shoot for about 9 or 10, probably Colorado time. We'll see about how all that goes, but of course that'll be 11 noon Eastern for all y'all on the East Coast. But either way, before I get into that, I planned on this actually being a football heavy video, but I actually got to harken back on another video here, definitely a bit of a follow-up, and we got to talk about my man John Jones, and in a sense, I'm actually also here to kind of shout out yet another viewer. Excuse me. This one by the name of Kevin Griffith 3801. Say that 3 times fast. But anyways, his comment on the video I had recently talking about John Jones reads as ridiculous fight, easy win for Jones. Not really, no. We just got to get to the point to where we acknowledge the fact that this is what makes John Bones Jones who he is. He wins fights and makes them look easy. He did it against Cyril Gane to actually win and have a strong debut in the heavyweight division, becoming the world heavyweight champion to begin with. And let's not forget about any of his other countless dominant performances, specifically Alexander Gustafsson, who actually took him to a 5-round classic the first time around. And there are certainly some other ones that I'm thinking about that I just can't name off right now, guys that gave him problems, but he just came back around and just simply dismantled them. Look, we can't just act like a lot of these dudes are pushovers, because again, we got to acknowledge the fact that this was against Stipe Miocic, the most successful heavyweight of all time in UFC history. Now, John Jones is very much on the track, possibly the fast track to surpassing him in that regard, but again, you got to look at it as a really good passing of the torch, and I kind of feel like that was something that he was shooting for throughout. Now, with this contest against Tom Masvidal, I'm not going to take anything away from him, but there's a pretty good chance Jones makes that look every bit as much easier, if not as easy. But, I mean, let's not act like any of these dudes that he's going against are pushovers. I mean, the long-run in-game goal is Alex Pereira, and I got to acknowledge that as an MMA fan, or at least at one point, that's the matchup I'm wanting to see. I think that's the one that the sport needs, and we gotta have it. And there's just a reason that this guy is where he is on top today, as he is. But just really looking forward to when that actually goes down. But it's not something that he's doing easy. I'm just here to tell y'all that right now. But anyway, we're just going to move right along into the actual football aspect of this video, and we're going to talk about my man Bo Nix here. What more is there to be said right now? I mean, he's starting to actually create some distance between himself and another subject of this video in Jaden Daniels, excuse me. Jalen was the guy out in Kansas, but anyway. Interestingly enough, Jaden had actually started off incredibly hot, and it seemed as though it was going to be a landslide. But then Bo actually started coming along, and the Broncos have strung 3 out of the last 5 games, and are now 7-3. And with that in mind, they're 7-5 actually. I don't know why I got so confused about that. You'll have to pardon me for that. But in any case, just the fact that he's come in and put up the numbers that he has is nothing short of remarkable. And more so the fact that he is such a hand-in-glove fit in Sean Payton's system. Again, look forward to me talking a bit more about this in the Broncos Talk video coming tomorrow. But if we're being perfectly honest, I don't think we've seen too many rookie campaigns that have been this successful. And hell, I remember at one point before the season started saying that I see a lot of similarities to Matt Ryan's rookie season, and lo and behold, look at what we're getting. Every bit as successful, probably putting up a bit better numbers, but granted there are more games to be played in the season. That said, the progress has been nothing short of phenomenal, and again, it's just the rookie season. Of course, he's one of the older rookies at 24, but I feel like that sort of thing has proved pretty invaluable, and it's only going to continue to do so in the weeks to come. With that in mind, we're going to talk about the soon-to-be runner-up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Just have to put that out there like that, but Jaden Daniels. Now, let's not act like any of the things that have happened with him, or even Caleb Williams in Chicago, is going to be indicative of what we're going to see moving forward. I mean, really all of these quarterbacks, we could even throw Drake May from New England in there to some degree. And what has to be acknowledged about all of this is the fact that through it all, especially given the fact that they're rookies and really just young players in the league, there are going to be a plethora of ups and downs. And it's just funny to me that, especially with the media, the way they got to spin the downs, like, it's as if there can't be any gray area or any silver lining to any of it. And I just kind of find that laughable. But if nothing else, the future of these quarterbacks, the 6 that were drafted in the first round especially, I can't help but feel like that it's nothing but brightness, and the best is yet to come. I feel like the Commanders are still in a really, really good situation as far as making the playoffs. It's just tricky because it's the NFC, and that's really all there needs to be said about that. And with that in mind, we're going to jump right into the final topic, specifically a division rival in the Eagles, but most notably Saquon Barkley, who has pretty much pushed himself into the front of the MVP race from the seams of it, and understandably so. 255 rushing yards. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at, and the thing about it is that the Rams' defense is not a bad defense at all. They could probably, under better circumstances, have an argument as one of the better defenses, but they're in a really jumbled up division in the NFC West, so it's really, really tough to judge based on all of what we've seen thus far. That being said, of course, it's just really, really cool to see what we're getting out of Saquon, because I think that we all knew going into the season that this was going to be an ideal fit for both sides, being the Eagles and Saquon. They've got the kind of offensive line that he can run behind and actually make some really, really impactful plays, which he's done that in spades this season. And not only that, you got a guy like Jalen Hurts getting you the ball, whether it's handing it off to you or just catching you on dump-offs, or however it is that he's finding this dude. One way or another, this man has just proven to be just far and away the best, most complete running back we've seen in a really long time. I would say even more so than an Adrian Peterson, because he doesn't have the fumbling problems that Adrian Peterson does. So with that in mind, just at the rate that he's going, and the fact that it's over 2,100 yards, which is the mark set by Eric Dickerson all those years ago, he's actually on pace to break that. And if he does, I don't see a scenario where he's not the league MVP. But of course, we'll find all that out near the end of the season, and shit, even with 5-6 games left, there's an awful lot of football left to be played, and that's not even including the playoffs. And I kind of anticipate the Eagles to be a really huge factor in that. With that in mind, y'all know what it is. I'm going to leave it at that, and y'all can let me know what y'all think down below. Like, share, subscribe, and we out.